I'm hoping that you have all your answers together in Seesaw. I enjoy looking through your work. A lot of you leave me comments, little things about this was confusing or you need a little more practice on something else. You can always leave me those comments. I go through every single one of them. And if you haven't been back to Seesaw, take a look, listen, because I do leave you comments on everything that you turn in. All right. So where we're going to head with this is through this stoichiometry process. There are 12 steps, and so if perchance you don't have this, you might even just use your phone, take a picture of it, or write it down. But we're going to go through these steps, all 12 steps, as we go through our starter today. We're going to write the reactants, the product, check for diatomics, balance the molecules, and balance the reaction. Those red steps we're going to do just right away in step 1. And then we'll get to the rest of the stoichiometry. Step number 10 down there, we'll get to the limiting reactant. And by the time we get all done, we'll have calculated the final product. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get started. I'm going to switch over to my iPad here, and so we can, all right, get going. All right, so question number 1 says write the synthesis reaction for lithium chloride. All right, so remember when we do this, we are just going to take the two things, the two elements, lithium and chlorine, put a plus sign in between them, draw the arrow. All right, that's step 1. Step 2 says put the elements in the right order. Lithium is furthest to the left in the periodic table, and so we're going to put it together just like that. All right, step 3, check for diatomics. Oh, there's chlorine all by itself. Got to have a 2 by it. Lithium chloride though, LiCl, no need for a 2 because the lithium is the chlorine's traveling with a friend, which is lithium. Lithium is not diatomic, so no 2 behind that. All right, check on the molecule, +1 and -1 for lithium and chlorine. So LiCl is perfect. All right, I'm going to add some spaces in the front of that. And let's see, I need a 2 over here and a 2 back here for lithium and a 1 in the middle. So our coefficients are 2, 1, and 2. All right. Number 2. It says, what's the atomic mass of lithium chloride? So lithium chloride has 2 elements in it, lithium and chlorine. Okay. When we put together the mass of these molecules, that was a little confusing for a few of you. All we do is go to the periodic table and put together the pieces and parts. So in this case, we have 1 lithium, 1 chlorine. Multiply by their atomic weights, 7 and 35. 7 and 35. And we add those 2 together and get 42 grams per mole. All right, number 3. Number 3, we're starting to get into it here where I got to do some conversions. Well, in this case, I know 1 mole of lithium is 7 grams. And so I want to know how many moles there are of lithium in 28 grams. So as I look, well, what did I do to get there? I multiplied by 4. I'm going to do that same thing here. Multiply by 4. I have 4 moles. The other way you could have done it is just divide. 28 divided by 7 is 4. Okay, so 2 different ways to get to the answer on that. Number 4. I want to know what is, or let's see, if you start with 28 grams of lithium, 70 grams of chlorine, which element limits the reaction? So I'm going to solve 4 and 5 at the same time. I've already written the balanced reaction, so I'm just going to write that down here. 2 lithium plus 1 chlorine I'm going to keep in mind the chlorine's diatomic, there we go, is 2 LiCl. All right, that next step, what I need to do is add some lines. Remember, 2 below, 1 above. Okay. And these are moles up here. And then grams. All right, I already figured out lithium is 7. 2 chlorines, okay? 2 chlorines, Cl2, that is 35 times 2 is 70. This other one, I don't add 70 plus 7. It is not 77. There is 1 lithium, 1 chlorine. That is 7 plus 35 is 42. We had to add each one of these independently. All right, then I got to go for what I'm given, 28 grams and 70 grams. Okay? I pretend there's a little division right here going on. 28 divided by 7 is 4. 70 divided by 70 is 1. Now I got to go back and figure out what is limiting. I'm going to circle these 2 top numbers. 4 divided by 2, let's see, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 1 divided by 1 is 1. So that one is my smallest one. That's the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to take that right here, 1 over 1. I'm going to set it equal to this one. Okay, I can circle that one in blue too. X over 2. Little cross multiply and divide. So 2 times 1 equals x times 1. And we know that x is equal to 2. One last step right here, we just do some multiplication because we have 2 moles of lithium chloride. So 2 times 42 is going to be 84. So the answer to number 5 is 84 grams. And the answer to number 4 was chlorine, because chlorine is what is limiting. So a few comments on this one for you before we leave it. I'm going to go over here to my purple one. When you're doing these down here, remember all that they match up to is these right here. Notice I did not circle those coefficients out front, the 2, the 1, and the 2. We just add them up separately, okay? When you're doing the division, keep the division the way it looks in the problem, 28 divided by 7. Don't flip it over. Once you know which one is limiting, do the cross multiply and divide. You guys are doing great with that. And finally, do that last multiplication of the top one up here against the bottom one down there. All right, we're going to go do one more stoichiometry problem just for good measure, good practice. I'll be back with you in a moment.